Hank Azaria, what was it like this year getting nominated for an Emmy for Ray Donovan? Where were you when you found out?
Oh, it's a good question. Oh, I was working. Actually, I just finished working. I just finished shooting a comedy series for IFC that'll be out next year, but called Brockmire, about a baseball announcer who kind of has a nervous breakdown, and hilarity ensues. And I just had gotten back from working very hard and got a text from my publicist. You were nominated for an Emmy. I'm like, oh, I forgot about all that craziness. It was a pretty nice way to end a job.
Because like last year, because you were in too many episodes, you weren't eligible in the guest category. This year, you were back in the guest category, so I can sort of see why it was maybe off your radar a bit this year.
Yeah, I thought about it a little because I had a couple of interviews about it, and then I got so busy working that you just get focused on that, and you don't think about. I didn't even know the nominations were the morning they came out, which is the best way to go.
Oh yeah, definitely. And the show really had a great year. This is the first year that you, Liev, and John have all been nominated in the same year.
Yes, I think that Liev and John were nominated last year, weren't they?
Not John. So just Liev last year, and the year before it was you and John.
Oh, okay. So all right, so all three of us. That's great. And there are many other folks who are very deserving on that show also.
What's your favorite thing?
Three who aren't, but I won't name them.
Yes. We'll try to get it out of you later. What's your favorite thing about Ray Donovan?
I'm a big fan of the current golden age of cable television that we live in. I'm completely addicted to it. And I love that Ray Donovan, like a few shows I love, they're like novels. You get into them as much as you get into like a really good long book, and that you have time to live with these characters and really flesh everybody out, and small storylines get a lot of attention. I love how it feels like you're reading a good book. That's my favorite part of these shows. And I love crime drama, crime fiction, crime drama. So.
And what role, how have you enjoyed your character, Ed Cochran, and the role he's played in that novel over the course of the seasons?
They've done a nice job with him of creating a really credible, intimidating police presence, and then having that guy devolve into a thug, basically. Through his dealings with Ray Donovan and his own pride and ego and insanity. And people say he's like sociopathic and depraved. I just think he's sort of power mad and keeps trying to, he's just obsessive, I think.
Do you have a favorite moment from him?
I really liked in the first season when I was interrogating John Voight and you were first seeing this character gets a bit unhinged. I really enjoyed that scene. I liked the beginning when he was sort of just a tough cop. I really enjoyed kind of bossing those guys around on that level. And in this last season that just aired, I really enjoyed this last episode I got to do where he just was full-blown wisecracking thug running around just trying to solve a murder case. It was fun teaming up with Ray after all that adversarial stuff.
Yeah, and singing Friday on My Mind.
Yes, isn't that your countrymen? Didn't they come up with that song?
Yeah, the Easy Beats.
That's right, the Easy Beats, that's right.
There you go. Yeah, that was that like, and that's sort of like each sort of season you've gotten something different to do.
Yeah, he definitely. I think they enjoy this character, the writers, and they definitely like because he's a character that you think is going to die, and could die at any minute. That's another fun thing about cable is anyone could die. Anyone can die at any moment. So there's a lot of actual tension, especially in a show like Ray Donovan. So I keep thinking my character is going to die, but he keeps staying alive.
And what is it like, I guess, for you as a guest actor who sort of comes in for a different number of episodes every season? You're sort of like a visitor, but you've now been on the show for 3-4 seasons, so it's sort of also becoming quite a regular thing that you're doing every year.
Yeah, at first it's a little hard. You sort of enter the world of the show and you have to kind of sit back and make sure everyone else is getting served first, kind of thing, and then you can fill your plate with whatever. But then after a while, like you say, you sort of have your own rhythm, and they kind of know what you do, and they write to what you do, and you know the crew, and you know the actors. It's kind of best of both worlds, because after a while, because it's familiarity of a regular gig, but not the incredibly long, difficult hours that the rest of them have to put up with.
What's something different about the Ray Donovan set than other shows you've worked on in the past?
You know, sets are like snowflakes. They're all really the same, but they're all unique. I also think that sets tend to, the tone of the piece you're working on, especially if it's over a long time, tends to create the mood on the set. So if you're working on a very silly comedy, things tend to be kind of frivolous. If you're working on a really dark drama like Ray Donovan, it can get kind of intense. Partly that's because people are trying to tap into emotion and imagine themselves in circumstances that are usually not fun, or rather heartbreaking or frightening or violent or difficult. And so sort of honoring that level of, you know, that kind of, the truth, trying to portray the truth of that can be a little intense. It's an intense set as a result. It's an intense set. But it's, you know, everybody is really passionate about making it really good. And it's, sorry,
That's okay.
it's my mom's phone ringing.
Yeah. Oh.
Anyway, I'll try to lower that, but I don't know if I can.
Let's see.
There we go. Yeah, so it's intense is the word I would use.
Yeah, I was talking with Liev about the season 3 final, and he was talking about how intense all that was with the confession scene and the action stuff and just rolling on and stuff like that. What's been the what's the biggest challenge for you as an actor? Maybe what moment has been a challenge for you on that show over the years, and what makes that a challenge?
I don't usually get to play bad guys or heavies or however you want to call them. It's fun to play a character who's ostensibly close to myself. Just he sounds the way I sound, he looks the way I look, and he's a bit more frightening and weird than I am, but only a bit. And sometimes what can be challenging, that sounds like it would be easier, but sometimes it's harder just to be yourself. Because if you think about it, it's sort of more voyeuristic. It's scarier to reveal what you're actually like. I'm more used to hiding behind a character. And just, you know, they're pretty amazing actors, John and Liev. And I'd say the scariest thing is really just hoping I can match them, you know, just kind of hang with them in a scene and give as good as I'm getting, because they're both great.
In the episode you nominated for this year is One Night in Yerevan. Well, do you want to tell us a bit about that episode and that your arcs that are from the season 3 storyline?
I hope I remember. I think that's the episode where Ed Cochran, my character, is sort of has stumbled onto Ray and his crazy world, and is kind of figuring out a murder, and then figuring out how to use that information against Ray, and doing what Cochran does on that show, what he did as an FBI guy, what he just does naturally, which is he's pretty smart. He's a pretty good investigator. He's a pretty smart guy, and he can figure out what's going on. And I think because he's such a murderous maniac, because he has a criminal mind, he's able to figure out the criminal mind very well, because he knows probably what he would do if he were trying to take advantage of any situation. I think that's been an advantage he has. And so he quite quickly susses out a murder and tries to figure out a way to frame Ray Donovan for it and use it to his advantage. And along the way, I got to do some fun stuff, kind of interrogate people in a fun and playful way, imitate Avi and pose and go undercover a little bit, and they really have some fun. They have some fun with Cochran.
Yeah, you get a couple good one-on-ones of like Ian McShane and Liev in the episode, and that's really cool.
He's like a twisted Columbo, if that's not too old a reference. Cochran runs around like sort of. He's really, especially now, he's sort of downtrodden and easily looked down upon, and sort of from that low place, he's got a big brain though, and he strikes at people. Although whereas Columbo would use it to solve murders for good, Cochran uses it for his own ends.
Yeah, and now in the current season, it's like he's it's like he's playing from a hand where he feels like he's got nothing to lose almost, and he's just embracing whatever he can.
Yeah, he's got a budding. It seems like he's got, like a lot of the Donovans, he's got a budding alcohol problem going on, and his judgment's not the greatest, like a lot of the Donovans as well. And yeah, he's kind of striking from the heart of darkness. He's just like, really, his back's against the wall. Things can't get much worse for him.
How do you know how many more episodes are in this season?
This season, that's it for me.
That's it for you. You're done for the season. So
I'm done for the season.
Yeah. So you're still alive. So you should be back next season.
Hopefully, I'll be back. It's sort of schedule dependent. We sort of try to, every year we kind of scramble, like what my schedule is versus what theirs is, and see how many I can fit into. And I keep thinking, I really do keep thinking I'm going to die. I keep being surprised when I live.
Do you know? Do you know where your character's going in future season or seasons? Or
I have no idea. I kind of knew we were headed where we got to in that last episode, where he and Ray were going to team up, for some nefarious purpose. Where it goes from here, I don't know. I'm really happy with the response to the episode, though. People seem to really like Ed and Cochran bouncing off each other and working together. I was really happy with the strange kind of dark comedy Liev and I got to in that last episode. So I just hope I get to do more.
Yeah. Oh, this is fun if you don't know. Like, what's something you would like to see him get up to?
I think, I like where Cochran's landing now, which is he's pretty good at doing what Liev does. They're good, whether they continue to team up or continue to try to screw each other over, or both. I could also see Cochran deciding he'd be a decent fixer, or deciding, I'm actually pretty good at this crime thing. Crime does pay, like just kind of full-blown leaning into a criminal life. I could see Cochran definitely doing that. I really like Cochran running around like he ran around in the last episode, being smarter than everybody else, ultimately outsmarting himself because he always gets too greedy. But I think it's a fun trope for the character.
Oh, yeah. Now, we're an Emmy Awards website, or an awards website, but we love the Emmy Awards. They're our favorites, and you are no stranger to the Emmys. You've won 5 of them, 1 for Tuesdays with Maury and 4 for The Simpsons. And last year you won for the Simpsons, your 4th one for The Simpsons was last year. What was it like? Because that was the first time you'd won one since they changed from it being a juried award to there being 5 nominees and you winning on a vote.
Oh, right. I didn't even realize that, but you're right about that. Yes. It was great. They're always great. The Simpsons, we've been doing it for 28 years now. And it's always really a nice honor. And it's nice that we're still, appreciated and acknowledged every once in a while. It was great. And I still love doing the show, and think, our top 5 episodes a year would stack up with any that we do each year of any of the canon of great episodes. So it's nice for people to still acknowledge that.
And Harry Shearer winning the year before was pretty cool.
Yeah, that might have been the first time Harry won.
Yeah, he was like, and no one knew why. That, like, you guys had won quite a lot, all of you, and there were juried awards. One year they gave it to sort of 5 of you guys in the same year and stuff, and for some reason he always missed out. But he finally got that Emmy.
Yeah, it's a crime because just for Mr. Burns alone, he really should have been acknowledged decades
Yeah.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have a favorite line that you've gotten to deliver on Simpsons?
Uh,
28
um,
seasons.
it all blurs into one big long 28-year-long episode.
Yeah.
You know, I think singing Bob Marley as Chief Wiggum might be a highlight for me. A stoned Chief Wiggum going, "I'm jamming, I'm jamming." It's hard to top that one for
Yeah.
me.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Do you have like what's the moment you've enjoyed the most working on that show for 28 years?
Boy, there's really so many to choose from. I would say this, it's a little bit of a cheat answer, but we table read them pretty much every Thursday or 2 or 3 Thursdays a month over at Fox. We've been doing this for 28 years now. So I started doing it that when I was 23, 24 years old. And no matter, you can't be depressed after one of these table reads. It's like no matter what mood you're in, no matter what's going on in your life, whether you're going through a divorce, a breakup, a parent dying, and I've gone through all of those things in the last 28 years. It's a bright moment that makes me happy and makes me laugh, and a lot of people are there laughing as well. And I think that's when I think of the show, that's what I think of, and I'm sure that's what I'll remember when the show's done.
And I'm sure for for 28 years, the many of the viewers have gone through divorces, breakups, tough days. That's sort of why you make shows and stuff, is for it's like when you've got that 3-decade legacy of making people laugh or comedy or just telling stories, it's pretty amazing to look back on.
It's extraordinary. I mean, it's definitely on very many levels, it's winning the showbiz lottery for sure. The longevity of the job is, the older I get, the more I appreciate that. I didn't really appreciate it as much when I was, in my early 30s as I do now.
Yeah. Is there something about The Simpsons that you think's most, people will be most surprised by from sort of how the show comes together, or what it's like for a voice actor on the show?
Well, most people don't realize that we record it first. We record it like a radio play, and then they animate to the vocal tracks. It takes about a year to get an episode to the air from when it's conceived to when it finally hits the air. It's longer than most people would imagine it takes. There's usually, for any given episode, I'll record 5 or 10 times for a single episode. We'll do redos and do-overs, and by the end you're only doing 1 or 2 lines of do-overs. But it's just a very, very long process, and probably how many people are involved between the writers, animators, producers, voice actors. I mean, hundreds of people go into making the show.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite role that you've played throughout all the, not just on it could be on The Simpsons, but it could be on any of the work you've ever done?
I don't. I mean, I think people that know me most for the Birdcage, for my role in the Birdcage, and because that seems to have stood the test of time and people still come up to me, it's easy to say that'd be my favorite because it's what I seem to be most known for besides The Simpsons. But at the time, it was a joyous job to do, but it didn't really, honestly, as I get older, the more I appreciate that I'm able to do what I do and really enjoy it. Like as I get older, I relax more, and you just kind of see that a career, you see my hand, career goes like this, and hopefully if you're lucky enough, it goes over a long period of time, and it's kind of a marathon and not a sprint. So as I get older, I enjoy the process so much. Like I really like being on the set of Ray Donovan. I really appreciate it for what it is, and I probably enjoy doing The Simpsons more than I ever did. And so, yeah, I think it's just enjoying the process. I don't have a favorite role. I really don't.
Yeah, and it's Ray Donovan, not your first Showtime show, because you had Huff back in the day.
Yes, that was about 10, 12 years ago, and that was a good example. It was a very good show. It was kind of hard to make. It's a show that if I were doing now, I promise you I would enjoy it more. I would just enjoy the process more. I don't know, as you go on, I used to be so self-critical and perfectionistic to a negative. You can be too perfectionistic. It can be a negative. It can make you take the joy out of things, and I don't let that happen anymore.
That show, what a cast, like that show.
On Huff?
Yeah, on Huff, yeah.
Well, Platt Donovan won the Emmy twice.
Twice.
Oliver Platt was nominated twice. I was nominated once. Yeah, everybody. Anton Yelchin, God, that was really sad that he just passed away. But he was amazing. It was one of his early things. He was amazing on that show as well.
Yeah. And the show, like, little were just so many, like, really nice moments as well.
Yeah, that show was like kind of ahead of its time a bit.
Gotta agree.
Yeah.
So what Hank are you if you were to, let's see, if you were to pick,
You're just making stuff up now, aren't you?
I'm just making stuff up. Yeah, we're about to wrap up, and I'll see what's a good last question for you, Hank. If
I have to think of it now. I have to do your job now.
No. What would you say if you could describe Ed Cochran in one sentence? What would it be?
Ed Cochran is an obsessive, borderline criminally insane narcissist. I think I might leave it at that.
Okay, yeah, good.
With a heart of gold. With a heart of gold.
With a heart of gold. I love it.
Not really. No, he doesn't. He is kind of a black little heart.
Yeah.
With a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
He does have a good sense of humor.
I think like
irony. What?
A sense of humor that's growing too.
Yes, he's part of hitting the depths is he's finding more gallows humor, I think.
Yeah, I love that. How was it the last episode you're in, or the one before, you sort of say, I just want you to know that I didn't start like this.
Yeah, you were born a scumbag. I just got worn down.
Yeah.
You know how that line came about? It wasn't originally written in the scene, but I said to the writer of the episode, I said, why does Ed Cochran say all this to Ray? Why bother telling him I didn't used to be this way? And he said, he wants Liev to know that he's not, he wants Ray to know that he's not, that he became this way, that he didn't start out this way. And I said, in other words, like Ray was born a scumbag. He got worn down. And he was like, yes, exactly. You could even say that. And so that's how that line came about.
Did you say that in every take you did from that?
No, I didn't. I only said it on a couple of takes. Yeah.
So when something like that happens, do you know if it's going to make the final cut or not? Like, yeah. So
no, I like to, in general, and especially with Ed Cochran, because he's always trying to keep people on their toes, make sure I get at least one or two that's exactly as they wrote it, and then start messing around a little bit with the lines. But even more so with Ed Cochran, messing around more with intent. Like with him and his agenda, the scene plays equally well at a furious rage, or with a dead-eyed sort of calm, or with a bemused, giggle. It's all kind of good because Ed's a bit unhinged. So he's not really constrained by social norms.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. Well, we got some good stuff out of that last question.
Yeah, you did.
got some good stuff. Thanks so much for chatting with us today. All the best of luck for the Emmys and our future seasons of Ray Donovan and another probably 28 years of The Simpsons.
I hope so. Yes. Let's hope so.
Thanks for chatting with us.
Take care. Bye-bye.
There you go.